Hey guys, it is that time again, and I'm kind of like feeling good because I'm in a position I never thought I would be in, which is to say, like the song says, it's the Call Me Tony show. Monday morning, what a fucking great time, you know? So I was talking to my brother yesterday, and he was pointing out that, the whole point of this project was supposed to be to get to give you guys a chance to get to know me, get to know Tony, the guy that my friends know, not AC Bergen Fisher, the podcast dude, just plain old unfiltered Tony. And he was saying that, while the content that I put out in the first 4 episodes was perfectly honest stuff, it's just more of the, I don't know, reflective, emotional, quiet, mild-mannered side of me that you've heard on In the Blood for 50 episodes now. And he said, what's the point of doing another show if it's just going to be the same old you with a different label on you? And honestly, I can't argue with that, because I didn't want to show up here and just give you more of the same. I was hoping to give you something different. And I guess in giving you more of the same, where my mind was at was thinking, okay, well, I got to speak honestly from where I'm at in the moment. But again, my brother pushed back on that. He's like, well, where you're at in the moment really has a lot to do with where you're guiding your headspace. And if you're getting yourself all ramped up into quote, podcaster mode, of course, podcaster you is going to come out. It shouldn't be Call Me Tony. It should just be Call Me AC, because that's what you're bringing. So I thought, let's try it his way, right? I mean, he's a smart guy. I go to him when I'm not sure what's what. And whether he's right or wrong, his input is always valuable. Either I go with his advice, or I think, wow, that advice is so overwhelmingly stupid, I'm going to go in a different direction. Either way, he helps. Family's cool that way. Well, at least it can be. So I was thinking, when you're trying to get to know somebody, what are some contexts where, somebody who doesn't know you at all is able to sort of drill into your subconscious or your conscious, or just drill into you in general and figure out, okay, what is this person all about? And I thought, well, there's job interviews. I don't want to sit here giving you those stiff questions oh, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Who fucking cares? If I'm still alive in 5 years, I'll consider myself lucky. How's that for an answer, right? Oh, what do you do? Well, f off. What do I do? You know what I do? I just do whatever I feel like doing, Can't say that in the job interview. But I thought, I don't want to just be obnoxious either. I gotta, figure out, how do I go in between just being too formal and just being, a straight prick. And I thought, the happy medium there is a first date. Right? Because I'm not your typical first date kind of person. Most people, they like to put their best foot forward. I just straight don't give a fuck. I figure, if the whole point of dating is to get to know another person, then, why am I going to give you some version of me that doesn't exist and that I can't maintain? I may as well just lead with the most truthful foot. For example, with, after I split up with my second wife, the first relationship I was getting into after that, I thought, I got to do things differently, because I'm thinking at the time, well, when I met my wife, I was just trying to give her the best version of me possible, give her something she could fall in love with. And she did. And I fell in love with, the best version of her too. And it turns out 6 months, a year in, it's we got 2 total strangers living with each other, because those best feet, they get left behind pretty quickly. I mean, that's just reality in most cases, right? So after that relationship inevitably failed, I found myself back in the game, and I thought, well, I'm going to try things differently. So when this girl asked me What do you think I should know about you? I said, I can't commit to monogamy. I can be moody. I can be emotionally demanding at times. And other times I just want to be left completely alone. Though my moods typically are fairly stable, there are times when they're not. And when the mood swings, it swings hard. I might turn into a totally different person. You may not like me in the moment. I hold strong opinions. I don't hold much value for other people's opinions. I'll politely listen to what you have to say, but at the end of the day, I'm never going to care about your opinion as much as I care about mine. I prefer my own cooking to anybody else's. I don't like when somebody else drives my car. It's just all kind of stuff like that. And she seemed kind of like shocked because nobody had ever like just come in straight like that before. And she's like, well, are you trying to scare me away? And the honest answer is like, no, I'm not trying to scare you away. The whole idea is like, I want you to stay, but I only want you to stay if you like who I actually am. And like down the road, if you like, I don't want to end up with another one of those conversations. Well, you've changed. F you. I haven't changed. I'm still the same that I was on day one, right? So while you may be entitled to feel disappointed, if you're surprised, I'm sorry, you're an idiot. This is my thinking, right? Anyways, all of that to set up for this. I thought, if you guys want to get to know me, I want you to get to know... I just totally lost track of like how that whole line of questioning was going. You know what? I'm not even going to edit that out. Whatever. It's real. Bottom line is, I thought I'm going to randomly pick a whole bunch of first date questions, and I'm going to do my best to answer them without really thinking them through too much. So I'm going to start off by like reading the questions just so that I can keep things straight, but I'll probably dub in like one of those like AI voices so that it sounds more interactive a little bit later. So if you're listening to this voice and thinking, okay, like, why does this person who's asking the question sound so fucked up? That's why. It's not a person. It's a computer asking the questions. Okay.
What's your favorite meal?
That's actually a pretty easy question for me. My favorite meal is stir fry. And I know that there's like tons of different kinds of stir fry. Like, I don't care. You could put like damn near anything in a stir fry, and I am likely to eat it. I don't know. I'm a little ADHD. I like having a little bit of everything on my plate. Saves me the hassle of mixing the food together. It's already mixed together. I mean, what could be better? Stir fry. Yeah.
What does your ideal weekend look like?
Honestly, I don't know. And the reason I don't know is because I'm retired. So like every day is kind of the weekend. So when every day is more or less the same, kind of hard to say what ideal looks like. Like, I go to Unitarian church on Sunday. I guess I look forward to that. Does that count? Like, I mean, maybe it's not ideal, but I get to see my friends. So that's kind of cool.
Who's your celebrity crush?
Okay, I've got a few, but I'm torn between two. One is Liv Tyler, because I don't know. I just, any age, like all through her career in the public eye, I just think she is absolutely stunning. I like the look of her. I like the sound of her. She's just, she's so dreamy. And my other one is, this might be a little weird for some of you. Well, I guess some of you might not know who the hell I'm talking about because you don't watch wrestling. Others, like if you watch AEW wrestling, there's a referee named Aubrey Edwards. She's just got a very different look, and oh god, it's like she just makes me feel so funny.
What kind of music do you like?
Okay, my playlist is a direct reflection of how completely like all over the place I can be inside my head sometimes. I got everything from like early 90s hip hop to Chopin to like Latin pop from the 80s. But my favorite music is anything done by the Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones, my favorite band, and I don't think they ever put out anything that I didn't like.
What's your favorite podcast?
Okay, this is going to be kind of stupid because like somebody who has podcasts, I should be shamelessly plugging myself and thinking, well, my podcast's my favorite. I'm not that narcissistic. I have two favorite podcasts, and I toggle between them depending on what my mood is in. What my mood is in, what my mood is like, what kind of mood I'm in. whatever. You get what I'm saying. My favorite podcasts are Mark Maron's podcast, WTF, which is freaking amazing. He just, I don't know. As far as podcasting goes, like he's just so good. If you haven't listened to his show, do it. It's awesome. And my other favorite show is Cognitive Dissonance. And yeah, I think anybody who's kind of like in the atheist-ish community is familiar with Cognitive Dissonance. If you're not, check them out. Tom and Cecil, the host, funny guys, like super, super good. I think you're in for an awesome time if you take the time to listen. Okay.
What's one thing you can't leave home without?
This is like really predictable. I mean, let's be realistic. It's 2024. What's one thing that none of us can leave home without? Right? Does anybody leave home without their phone? It's got everything I need in there. It's got my bus pass. It's got my payment cards. It's even got my ID in there. And once in a while, I use it to make phone calls or send texts. That's real interesting, right? But I'm thinking like, I don't know, maybe for the sake of transparency, I shouldn't go with like the most obvious answer. There's another thing that I don't leave home without, and this is like maybe like a bit of a strange one. I quit smoking a couple of years back, but I still, I don't leave the house without a lighter in my pocket. And I don't know. It just sometimes if I get like really stimulated and I feel like I want a cigarette, like it still happens. There's something about sticking my hand in my pocket and just sort of like slowly working the little wheel on the lighter that kind of like gets me over the hump where I feel kind of okay. So yeah. Now when I leave the house without the lighter, those tend to be stressful times. Thankfully, I think that's only happened like twice, possibly 3 times in the last year. So yeah.
Which is your favorite place in the world?
That changes. Because when I go to a new place for the first time, I don't know, there's that new place charm that's like really exciting. Like it doesn't always last. Like if I'm going to look back over all the places I've been in the world, and I've been to quite a few places, right? Like I've lived in 3 different countries. I've visited dozens. I've been all over the place, several different continents even. But my favorite place in the world is not that far from where I was born and where I lived most of my adult life, which is Victoria, British Columbia. I don't know, that place has just got kind of a different vibe. And the atmosphere, the people, the just everything. I love that city. They're just that's my happy place. If I could be anywhere right now in this moment, that's probably where I'd be.
What's the most embarrassing nickname you've ever had?
Okay, here's something most people don't know. Like even like most people that are like actually good friends with me don't know, because I don't have that many friends from high school. Actually, I don't think I have any friends from high school now that I think about it. I got friends from junior high, but nobody from high school. That's weird. I should look into why that is. But anyways, I was really, really overweight when I was in grade 12. Like I was pushing 300 pounds. I might have even gone over at one point. But the nickname that some of the guys gave me was Friar Tuck. Which, you know, looking back at it now, that was actually like pretty funny. Like I can't sit there. I know some people look back on like nicknames that they've had and they just, it hits them in the feels. They get really upset. When I look back, I'm like, God, I wish I had been somebody who could think of a nickname back then that would have like fit somebody so well. I mean, yeah, it was like kind of an whole thing to call the fat kid, but you know, me being that fat kid, I'm laughing about it. So if anybody else is offended, well, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Grow a sense of humor. It's my memory, not yours.
What's the most hilarious thing that's ever happened to you on vacation?
Okay, this one actually is kind of messed up. So I had a flight scheduled years ago. I was flying from Toronto to, where where was I going? Somewhere in South America. I think I was going to like Sao Paulo, Brazil. But for whatever reason, I missed a connecting flight, right? Or I missed my flight. I got the flight from Vancouver to Toronto, but when I was supposed to get on the next plane from Toronto to Sao Paulo, I'm pretty sure it was Sao Paulo, I missed that flight. Now, the airline was really, really accommodating. They're like, okay, we can get you on the next flight. We're not going to charge you any extra, whatever the case may be. And it's your lucky day because there's no seats left in coach. So they bumped me up to business class or first class, whatever you want to call it, which was kind of cool because like somebody like me who's used to traveling on a budget, like, getting to fly like the rich snobs, like that was pretty freaking amazing. Like what a nice surprise. Anyways, I got on the plane and I was like just so tired from all the stress and the waiting for this next flight and all this other stuff. And I fell asleep pretty quickly. And as is the case a lot of the times when I fall asleep in unfamiliar surroundings, I started having like really like effed up dreams. Has that ever happened to any of you guys where you're just dreaming and it's like, where the fuck did that come from? But anyways, in this dream, I'm dreaming that there's something wrong with my teeth. Like my teeth are just like shattering, they're breaking. For whatever reason, it doesn't hurt, but it just like, there's all these like broken tooth pieces in my mouth and I don't want them. So I'm like in the dream, like spitting out all these broken teeth, right? Anyways, I guess the plane hit a patch of turbulence or something and like everything shaking around it sort of like shook me awake. I woke up. And there was like saliva all down the front of my sweater. Like I'd spit like all over myself in my sleep. And the person who had been in the seat beside me was standing in the aisle and just like glaring at me. Like I'd done it on purpose or something. Like whatever. I guess if I'd been in their shoes, I probably would have been a little bit aggravated. Actually, I wouldn't have been aggravated. I probably would have been dry heaving, but whatever. It happened. Yeah. Good times.
What's the weirdest food combination you've ever tried that turned out to be surprisingly great?
Okay, this one, I don't know if anybody is familiar with this one because I had never heard about it until, I don't even think it was a friend of mine. I think it was like a friend's younger sibling was like making a snack in their kitchen. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? He was making a sandwich, but it wasn't like a normal like peanut butter sandwich where it's like, you know, peanut butter and jelly or peanut butter and butter or like just peanut butter and bread, whatever the hell people normally do. He put like a good layer of butter and then peanut butter and then like this big glob of mayonnaise. And I said something about how gross it looked. And he's just like, he cut the sandwich in half. He's like, seriously, just try some. And I was like, against my better judgment, I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to go for it. So I tried the sandwich and it turned out to be like just super, super amazing. And to this day, it's still like one of my favorite snacks. I eat them all the time. Peanut butter and mayo. Like if you haven't tried it before, like do it. Like I don't know where it originates, but it's like super, super good.
Do you have a favorite word?
Yes, I have a favorite word. Now, I'm going to have to bleep it out. Otherwise, I'm going to get in trouble with my podcast host. But the word is cunt. And though you couldn't hear that, all you heard probably was a beep. The word starts with a C and it rhymes with runt. You follow me? And I think the reason that's my favorite word is because like you're not supposed to say it. So when you say it, I mean, people react in such like surprising ways sometimes. And I think it's the shock value that word carries is like half of it. The other half is I don't like being told what to do. So if you tell me I can't use that word, I'm determined to work cunt into every sentence. So there you go. There's something you know about me now. But you can't unknow that. Okay.
What's the most surprising fact you know that always blows people's minds?
Yeah, I don't know if their minds are actually blown, but it's definitely a surprising fact that I don't even know where the knowledge came from, but for whatever reason, I know that yak's milk is pink. There's a pointless piece of information, right? Well, I guess now you know it too. Prepare to amaze your friends.
If you could have any superpower, what would you pick?
Yeah, I'm trying to go into these questions fresh, but this is a question I have been asked before, and it's like, I don't know, it's been hotly debated. Well, do you want to have super strength? Do you want to have invisibility? Do you want to have the ability to mind read or fucking climb walls or gold bars or whatever? There's a lot to choose from. But this is one of those things where it's like, I don't know, maybe I'm making a lame choice by some people's standards. And it's like kind of a weird one for me because I'm super, super afraid of heights. But I think I'd like to be able to fly. Right? Because I mean, I don't know. As much as I'm afraid of heights, I don't like confined spaces even more than that. And I like to travel. So, I mean, if I could fly, I could just fly myself there. Then I'm not dealing with the confined spaces. I'm not dealing with the expense. I mean, maybe bird strikes would be a problem. I haven't really thought that part through, actually. But yeah, flying. That's what I would pick, long story short.
If you could switch lives with someone for a day, who would it be?
This one's super easy. I would want to be Keith Richards, and not just for a day. I mean, I would be Keith Richards for like a week, 10 days. To me, he's just like the coolest person alive. And I don't know. I figured like if I could be him, I'd have access to his guitar collection. Like that would be just super exciting in itself. Have access to his phone book, be able to call up his friends. I mean, like this is a dude who knows all the people I want to know. That would be a freaking blast.
If you had 3 wishes, what would you ask for?
Off the top of my head, I would ask that my brother would have no more health concerns. Because, I mean, he's had kind of a rough go of things the last couple of years. Just want him to be healthy. And I would want for my brother to be rich. And I would want for me to be rich. That's 3, right? All right, well, I guess that's all the questions. I don't know, does that feel like an awkward place to leave things? I don't know. I feel like ending there is a weird place. But, whatever. We're ending there. I guess that's the show for today. And don't forget to check out the In the Blood podcast. New episodes every Friday. And yeah, thanks for joining me. And I will talk to you next week.